Welcome to another week of Brew Skies Booze News. This week is completely hallucination-free. I'm Mike Morgan. I write about beer, I teach beer, and I drink a lot of it. And you, sir?
Brett Coleman Baker, co-owner at Urban Artifact Brewing. I run all the brewing ops.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome, everybody, to the last year of civilization.
It's all going downhill, and we are going to talk about...
We're going to take the ride, baby. We're going to ride this wave out.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do. And if you want to support us on our downward spiral, hit us up on social media, follow us on YouTube, subscribe, like, comment, do all that bullshit. You guys know the drill. Hit us up on Patreon. Buy us a beer on Patreon. Now, my understanding is that if you're on Patreon, you're supposed to get something in return for subscribing. Because I just thought if you buy someone a beer, you just buy them a beer, which is all we're asking, to buy us a beer once a month. But people apparently want things in return for the Patreon stuff rather than just our support and never-ending free content stream.
Usually trying to get laid. I mean, let's be honest about it.
The people on Patreon, they're trying to buy the ticket into your pants? Is that what you're saying?
The gnome, definitely.
Well, I mean, we'll give them that. But as always, we've been saying it since we started Patreon 6 months ago. Eventually, you'll get some stuff on Patreon, too.
Yeah, we really do mean that. We're just, there's a lot going on here.
Our question of the week.
Studio's rat-free now. I mean, the holes in the floor are gone. So we're making progress.
Rat or rent?
Rat.
Rat-free. The question of the day, or the week, that is what is your favorite parable from the Bible? No, that's not the real question. You look like you were sweating that for a hot second. You go, shit, can I think of one parable? What's a parable? I don't fucking know what a parable is.
It's worse than asking me about Christmas beers.
No.
I don't know. There must be some cool shit about Satan or something in there, but I don't know.
And then he sprang forth and unleashed the hells. I don't know. Cool stuff. You're right. No. What is your New Year's resolution this year? That's what I want to know. I want to know what your New Year's resolution is. I want to know what yours is. We can talk about mine as well. We'll get to that at the end. Now, let's jump into a little bit of a fun segment to start this New Year's off. Kind of news adjacent. We're going to talk about modern beer dialect and culture. Mike, I'm going to say some words about beer to you, and I want you to try to define them.
All right.
Crispy boy.
I would think that just refers to somebody drunk.
Oh, that's a good guess. No, it refers to a very light, crisp beer. Like a Miller High Life that we had for lunch. Milkshake or smoothie beer?
Well, that's going to be your New England style, heavy lactose, creamy taste, like...
Beer for people who don't like beer.
Correct.
Stovepipe.
Stovepipe, I would think sort of like a smoky porter.
19.2 ounce can. It's actually the most growing format of craft beer right now. Largely driven by Voodoo Ranger and all the crap they put in 19.2 ounce cans.
Yeah. Who the hell even still knows what a stovepipe is? I mean, I'm back from...
Well, that's a good question. What is
I date
stovepipe?
back to the 20th century, and I don't know what a stovepipe is.
We're from a time when text messages used to cost 10 cents each.
Stovepipe.
Milk pour.
Milk pour. I would think we're talking about lactose again, but I'm assuming this has to do actually with what... I don't know. How do you pour milk in cereal? Is that like
Shit, you just put your beer in a bowl of cereal? That's a
like
milk pour?
Dog.
Like a dog. A
Drink it
dog
like this.
Tasty milk. No, it's when you have one of those fancy side pull tap handles like they have in the Czech Republic that creates what's called a wet foam. So it's basically a glass of foam that then settles quickly, and then you have like half a glass of beer. It's called a milk pour.
Oh, people have to love that.
What's a boss pour?
I would assume that's kind of the opposite. That it's like a badass. I mean, I would think in liquor when I used to tend bar. And I was going for the tips from the drunks. a boss pour. It's like a triple shot.
You know, you would think it'd be cool, but it's actually not. It's something that gets a lot of derision within beer. It's where you pour all the way to the rim and don't leave any room for head.
Well, I guess that's kind of what I was thinking would be the equivalent with a beer.
Great for liquor.
It's a stupid way to pour a beer, but yeah, yes, I can see that.
All right, last
but it's
one.
dumb. Don't do it.
Porch bomb.
That just sounds like me getting tanked on a bunch of beers on my neighbor's porch.
Oh my
like
God.
I do every
Porch
Friday.
bombed. I like that a lot more. No, porch bomb is when you come home and there's a package on your doorstep that's just filled with beers that your friend shipped you.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's good too.
As long as your friend's not Ted Kaczynski, then I guess that's fine.
Can I get an Irish porch bomb, please?
It's fucking racist, you dick.
Irish people are white. You can't be racist. 83% of Gen Zers buy food or drink after seeing it on social media.
Of course they do. Because they're lemmings.
Aren't we all, though?
Yeah, I mean,
they just have a new way of being.
It's just a new. I mean, you could probably say that for commercialization of any sort from the beginning of time. 1890s was probably the same stat. It's just seeing it in the newspaper.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. People don't really change. The younger generation's always been lazy. It's just because when you're 22 years old, you're just a lazy piece of shit.
That is absolutely true. It sometimes occurs to me, like the little things I do in life, like just putting tools away or stuff like that, so that I'm not always searching for shit. Like taking that extra 50 seconds, minute to do a thing that then saves me 15 minutes later. Then in my 20s, I wouldn't do it because I just didn't have the time for that extra.
I could be masturbating right now, goddammit.
I could definitely be better using this next 60 seconds.
Oh shit, producer Adam told us not to mention masturbating in this episode. Here we are, 10 minutes in, not even talking about jerking off.
Well,
you can't out-jerk Mike and Brett on the Bruce Guys Booze News podcast. That's for damn sure. We will not be out-jerked.
I didn't know that's where it was going, but sure.
Speaking of jerking, Thailand is cutting alcohol taxes in order to boost tourism.
Jerks. Oh, they're cutting alcohol taxes to boost tourism. So just the booze is going to be cheaper in Thailand.
Yes. They have cut the excise tax on spirits from 10% to 0%. And wine went from 10 to 5.
Thailand, we're not just about sex tourism anymore. Now you can get drunk really cheap.
Man, spirits going from 10 to 0? That is insane. That country is about to get wild. More wild.
Yeah, it seems a little off the hook already.
Beer is still contracting through December. It has not shown really any improvement. The only thing that has shown any growth basically over the last year was exports. I don't really have anything else to say other than that. But
domestically, U.S. exports.
Imports. Except for imports.
Great.
Imports. Mexican beer specifically is doing well in the U.S. Everything else is doing negative, and it's not getting better. It's still doing negative.
Fantastic.
Now, this is interesting because the year is over now, and craft beer looks like we're going to be about down 5%, and we're going to have equal closings as openings and yada yada. Stuff
2023 is over. This one, not so much.
Oh, yeah, 2023. Jesus Christ. Two Miller Lights at lunch, and I'm fucking hammered.
They were high lifes, for the record, but...
Well, what's interesting is that beer shrunk by 5%. But by all accounts, the American economy had a good year and grew by 5%. GDP is up. What does that mean? Why is beer down if GDP is up? And unemployment's at all-time lows. So if unemployment's at all-time lows and GDP is up, shouldn't people be buying more expensive beers?
No. I mean, we've talked about this several times. The overall statistics on the U.S. economy are really solid, and that is good news. And inflation is stabilizing, and some prices are starting to go a little bit down. But for the most part, once prices go up, they stay there. Mm-hmm. So we have still had, inflation has been curbed and stopped in pretty impressive ways but it doesn't mean that shit doesn't still feel really expensive.
Because it does.
Because it does. Because it is in proportion to what it was pre-pandemic. And while you can look at overall statistics and see that wages are going up, some wages have not gone up as much as inflation. So, it's still sticker shock. I was at a bar that I used to hang out at all the time the other day, and I had a few beers and realized that they're now charging like $8 for every single pint of beer.
Ugh.
Like, good Christ, I don't know who can afford to drink in this bar anymore, but I know that I'm not one of those people.
It just doesn't feel like a real number either. Economy grew by 5%, but who did it grow for?
That's also part of it.
Was it the
Elon
people,
Musk?
Yeah.
There's like
people
6
in America
people.
Or Bezos?
There are like Bezos and Musk. There's like 6 people the economy's been fucking amazing for.
Yeah.
Most of the rest of us, not so much.
Yeah, so it feels a little farcical to say that, like, the economy's up, beer's down, what the hell's going on? It's really...
Low unemployment is a real thing, and low unemployment does help drive up wages. Wages are going up some. But, yeah, it's not... the stats don't... The stats are stats. They reflect an overall picture. It's like the stock market doing well. Is the stock market really doing well? Or are, like, half a dozen extraordinarily overvalued tech companies doing amazingly artificially well? It's really the second one. So,
Yeah, it is what it is, and we all feel it. So, at the end of the day...
Bezos had a very good year.
Yeah, good job, buddy. Good job.
I'm done predicting most things, but I predict that in 2024, Bezos will have a really good year.
One of these years... he might lose his head, and we're all going to have a better year for it.
Yeah.
I'm talking like French guillotine
Like literal,
style.
yes.
Like,
let's eat
the rich.
Yeah, I'm for bringing back the guillotine, actually. I'd like a little old style French Revolution.
I want some real trickle down economics.
Yes.
Let's trickle this shit down by force.
Yeah,
Let's force it.
absolutely. Bezos at gunpoint, just giving up some coin. Yeah, I'm all for it.
What do they put before episodes of South Park about how this is all satire and irony and none of this is really real? There is no call to action. We are clearly joking. I would never want to put Jeff Bezos through a human-sized ricer and turn him into tiny little bits of Bezos and rain down on us. That would never want to be the case.
Am I going to do it? No, that's the question. We're not going to do it, and this is not an imminent call for action. Now, if somebody did it, will we laugh our asses off? Sure, but we're not calling for that action.
Now, listen, we're recording this on the 5th of January, and we all know on January 6th, you can get away with doing whatever you want.
That's true. That's true.
Unfortunately for you listening, you're listening to this after January 6th, so please, this is all satire. None of it's real.
Only on January 6th can you rape, pillage, murder, overthrow the government, and it's patriotic.
Well, I am certainly patriotic about tequila, and I know that...
Sure, because you're Mexican as hell.
Tequila growth is slowing down. And that's a problem for our friend and compatriot, who's that guy that played Batman?
P. Diddy?
P. Diddy played Batman? No. What is his name?
George Clooney.
Yeah. George Clooney's
Good
Casamigos
Kentuckian.
brands is hurting. Yes. The Mexican Kentuckian George Clooney, with his very famous tequila brand that, as we all know, is affordably priced. He is woefully hurting here soon.
I'm pretty sure he's going to survive it.
But tequila's shrinking, really, and the bad news is George Clooney isn't going to be affected by this. You know who's going to get fucked by this? It's the Mexican agave grower. Because it takes 7 years to get a plant to maturity in order to harvest it. So 7 years ago, when things looked like they weren't going to stop growing for tequila, they planted a whole bunch. Yeah. And now prices are plummeting because demand is lowering, but tequila agave is, readily available. So we're talking a 50% decrease in value that these farmers are getting now on their crop. So it's gonna cause problems. There's gonna be ripple effects, right? Until things stabilize again. So we might get cheap tequila eventually, but not currently. I don't know where that. It just sucks. The whole point of me bringing this up is it just sucks for the farmer. Yet again, farmers who we rely on as civilization is getting screwed.
Yeah, farming is hard. I mean, it is. There's so much price fluctuation in the United States since the Great Depression. We subsidize a lot of it to buffer people against those price fluctuations, although that mostly just benefits really huge corporate farmers.
Well,
but there's a lot of risk in farming. I mean,
it can benefit brewers. Like, we have really wonderful grain in this country. We buy great grain at Urban Artifact, our malt and all that stuff.
Yeah, you guys get all your stuff from Malt Europe.
We do. It's great, and the price is great, and it wouldn't be good and affordable in a first world country if it wasn't because of what America is doing and what our suppliers are doing. So someone like Malt Europe for us is great. And if you're a brewer out there, I highly suggest it. I mean, hit me up anytime you want in the comments or whatever, and I'll tell you how good it is. But anyway, point being, farmers are getting screwed. They're out there. Without farmers, we wouldn't have fucking agave, and we wouldn't have tequila, or we wouldn't have grapes and wine, or we wouldn't have barley and beer. And so, that's important.
Some things are life choices, though, too. Grow cocoa, dumbass. I mean, you're in Mexico. Just make Coke like everybody else.
Well, I don't know anything about cocaine, but I do know that...
They make much Coke, but it's still... I mean, they don't really make it in Colombia anymore. So I think that Mexico is I don't know. I do know in Britain that they are reeling from Brexit still, and that booze cruises... What? Shocking. That was such a good idea. That was a great idea that English Trump had.
Well, booze cruises are an all-time high, triple of what they were pre-Brexit. And a booze cruise in Britain is a little different in America. In America, you hop on a cruise when you're underage, you go out in international waters, you get wasted, you gamble, you do all that shit. In Britain, it's you get on a boat and you go over to France and you buy shit duty-free alcohol and you import it back into the country. So that has been through the roof. So what they thought was gonna, kill European imports of alcohol has actually seen a tripling, and domestic product is actually being crippled as a result. So yet again, Brexit doing the opposite of what they claimed it was gonna be doing.
Yep.
So there's no surprise there. Now what is surprising is 7-Eleven is suing 7-Eleven.
Why not P. Diddy? Yeah, all right.
7-Eleven, the gas station chain, is suing 7-Eleven, the law firm. There's a bunch of lawyers that call themselves 7-Eleven in Chicago.
Oh.
And they're being sued by 7-Eleven gas station chain for trademark infringement. Now, can you guess what this law firm specializes in?
Not high-end branding. I can tell you that.
Trademark law. They specialize in trademark law.
Well, okay.
DoorDash is looking to expand. Mike, do you DoorDash?
I don't.
Do you do any these delivery things?
I really don't. I mean, I order pizza now and then. But yeah, my neighbors DoorDash stuff all the time.
I didn't realize you lived in fucking the rich part of town.
That's the thing, is that like I'll walk out of my house on a Saturday morning and I'll see there's two neighbors in particular. I'll see one of them getting like Chick-fil-A delivered DoorDash. Chick-fil-A is like a 90-second drive from our house.
Oh my God.
I mean, and I have spent a lot of my life really hungover. I've never been so hungover that I couldn't drive 90 minutes up the street to go through the drive-through. But no, I don't do it at all.
Yeah, me either.
Just shit talking my neighbors, who I love, but I don't understand the whole.
It's expensive. It's expensive, and it's already expensive to go out to eat. So I don't get it. Personally, I like just getting in the car and going to the place. But whatever. But they're looking to expand geographically, more countries, and more shit. They want to deliver groceries, and they want to deliver alcohol, and they want to do all this other stuff. So I don't know about you. I don't ever use it. But do you ever see a point where you would use an alcohol delivery?
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, there's several times in life that I should have. because the drive wasn't smart.
The beer run is a not good thing to do if you have to drive.
Yeah, I mean that actually I've got I can understand. But one of the things that I hate about DoorDash, and one of the reasons I don't use it, is that it's not just that it's expensive for the consumer, it's also expensive for the restaurant. You know, DoorDash double dips. It charges the restaurant exorbitant fees, and then it also charges the consumer, and you're supposed to tip the person on top of that. So DoorDash is incredibly profitable because it is forcing restaurants to sell money for less than, sometimes to a point that they're barely even making money, or sometimes they're even losing money, but it's still helping with their volume. So they're screwing restaurants, and they are then still charging the hell out of the end consumer. And so overall, it's not a business model that I want to support.
Agreed. It's not good for anybody.
Except DoorDash.
Yeah. And it also it screws the driver.
Yeah,
and they still expect tips. You just pay so much more for food. It's freaking insane. Top 10% of all drunks in America drink over half of all the alcohol in America.
Wow. That's not surprising. We did an episode on Bruce Guy's Happy Hour podcast a while back about Budweiser and Miller and kind of the war between the two of them. And, you know, they discovered that the stat was a little bit lower than that, but I think that, you know, it was something like the top third of highest consumers, heavy users, where they're called in the industry. Drunks is what we call them on the norm. Not derisively, obviously, because we fall within that third. But that they, like that 1/3 consumes something like 80% of
it's the Pareto law. 20% does 80% of the thing.
And Pareto law?
Pareto?
Oh. Okay. I didn't know how you made your burritos.
No. No, Pareto law. Yeah, in America at least, it's 10% of all alcoholics, or the heaviest drinkers, drink 74 drinks a week minimum.
Good Christ.
That's over 10 a day. That's over 2 bottles of wine per person a day for that top 10%.
I'm trying to curb my consumption, and I have never come close to that.
No,
that is
wild
problematic. Amount. Yes.
Yep.
That is fast track to the graveyard.
And what's nuts is that next decile behind it, the 90th decile, or the 9th, 80% to 90%, they are only drinking 15 drinks a week. So it goes from 15 to 74. Like that's, I think we're solidly probably in that 15 range.
Yes, yeah.
I often find
we're in the lower
right
level of high drunk.
Yes. And what's even crazier is when you look at like the drinkers split in America, 30% of people in the US don't drink at all. And so and that includes, you know, people that are obviously underage, people that are too old, but there's a large chunk of people that just don't drink in this country. Yeah. So like there's people that just hardly touch booze. So there's really doing some heavy lifting in that top 20%.
Yeah, some of us are really doing our part.
Well, speaking of those doing our parts, we're going to get oral and or esophageal cancer at a higher level.
This is not nearly as fun as I thought it was going to be when you started.
Mike, do you know if you stop drinking for 5 to 9 years, how much less your chance of getting oral cancer would be? 5 to 9 years you would have to stop.
5 to 9 years I stopped.
0 alcohol for 5 to 9.
It's going to reduce it 70%.
Nope, only a third. 33%.
Then
who cares, right?
And I can't say, I have never known anybody that has had oral or esophageal cancer, which is not to say that it's not a problem and it's not killing people or a terrible thing, but you know, I don't know what those rates are, but it doesn't seem like
0.01% to 0.015%. Like, oh, whoop de fucking do.
Yeah. This is true story. It's highly inappropriate, but this is Bruce Guy's Booze News. So I'm getting my teeth cleaned a while back, and it's my former dentist. And she's my former dentist because she started to become like a used car salesman. They were always trying to sell me extra stuff. and also trying to like induce fear in me. So this oral hygienist, she's cleaning my teeth, and like as my mouth's all propped open and she's got the stuff in there doing the thing, she just like out of nowhere says, performing cunnilingus increases your chance of getting oral cancer. I'm like,
does she hate your wife? Does she just hate all otother women? What the hell's going on with that?
I didn't know it was a test. I don't know if I passed the test or not, but I said, hey, you got to die of something. If that's how I got to go, that's how I got to go.
She sounds like she's gearing up to be a Batman villain. Like, what the hell is that?
I don't
what
know.
is that stance?
Yeah, I don't know how I was supposed to respond to that. Oh, okay, I'll stop.
Can you imagine a male doctor telling female patients, if you give BJ's, it's going to increase your chance of dying by 25%?
No.
He would be castrated and cast out of male society.
Absolutely. Even if that is true, yes, I would burn I would burn his office down.
What a wild thing to say. The non-alc story of the week is... I don't remember what we talked about.
Oh, well, we talked. We always kick these around because these days...
Oh, yeah.
It's hard. I mean, there's stuff that we just don't want to get too heavy on. But this president of Harvard got... she resigned this last week. Did she resign or get fired? I mean, she was forced out.
I think she was
regardless,
forced out, yeah.
Regardless of how it was technically. And so, that's been news and et cetera, et cetera. But I think that really what is news to us is just what in the fuck is going on with broader society. I mean, this woman, you follow the whole path and trajectory of this woman. She's in front of Congress, and they ask her whether it's acceptable or not to promote the genocide of Jews on Harvard's campus. And in her defense, I think that there is a certain nuance in freedom of speech that's involved in that. I mean, we do live in America, and the First Amendment does protect your right to say whatever heinous, stupid shit you want to say. The limitation on that really is whether or not, there's a difference between invoking specific action. But the way she answered the question was problematic in a number of ways. And it reflected the fact that there's this crazy shit going on college campuses that I certainly didn't predict as a Gen Xer. And I don't think you predicted as a millennial that somehow Gen Z was just going to explode with this pro-Palestinian tinged with anti-Semitic something that's going on in college campuses. And I don't, this is not to get deep or heavy into any of this. It's just more of like, first came Trump, then came this, and whether it is the right wing going off their nut, which I have gotten used to some extent, now I see the left just doing shit that completely throws me for a loop, and I don't understand anybody anymore. I just want to hide.
It all harkens back to me. I don't want to psychoanalyze Gen Z and this Palestine shit because I don't even fucking know what any of it is. I don't even know. I don't care. Don't want to get involved. Don't give a shit. I'm more worried about the problems we got here on American soil and trying to bring the divide back together. But I just don't get why every single person thinks every stupid opinion they have needs vocalized and validated by outside people. Maybe just keep your fucking mouth shut. Realize not everything you have to say needs to be said. Which is funny coming from us who is just bloviates and talks nonstop for 30 minutes about dumbass opinions that we have about the alcohol industry that
nonsense
often bleeds
we
into
think.
fucking psychological bullshit. But sometimes it's just a good idea to just shut up. Just just wait and let things unfold.
Social media is the answer to your
I think that's
question,
what it is. It's
actually,
social media.
Yes.
Mike, what's your New Year's resolution before we get the hell out of here?
I don't do that shit. I have goals, but my primary goal this year, and actually it aligns perfectly. I wound up looking up my Chinese zodiac prediction for the year. And basically what it says is that this year is going to pay off of a lot of past years of work. You know, that this year
This is the year?
This is the
5 decades in, we're there?
This is the payoff year. So it aligns with you know, making more money and getting the Bruce Guy's audience up to, you know, well over 4 or 5 or whatever it's at. It's more than that.
I thought you were going to say 400 or 500 or 1,000. That's just 4 or 5. Thank you.
No, actually,
Elijah, we see you, buddy.
4,000 or 5,000 is a good legit goal for this year. So, yeah.
Well, cheers to that.
What's yours?
Oh,
Can't
same. I thought you were going to let me off the hook. No, it's the same shit. Make some money. Just ease the stress in my life. I'm just tired of being stressed about shit.
Yeah.
You know,
More money, more money.
I'm beginning to realize that it's probably just because my parents are really good at just hiding stress and problems from myself as a child when I was growing up. But I want to live the ideal that I thought my parents lived, where it was just like, you know, you don't have to worry about bills. You just pay them. You don't have to worry about money. It just keeps accumulating in your account.
Sure.
I'd like to try to get to there someday in my life. And maybe this year we will. I doubt it, but that's the
Let's
goal.
go for it. You know who says more money, more problems?
People with more money?
People born rich.
Yeah.
Who have to like invent their own problems.
Yes.
More money, fewer problems for everybody other than the born rich.
Well, here's to getting Brazilian butt lifts this year.
I don't even know, but I'm for it. Thank you guys. We love you. Happy New Year.